Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight proved so good that it showed how superhero cinema can go so far beyond silly men in costumes staging a fight. He's the man that everyone pictures as the Joker and portrayed the character superbly up until his untimely death. However, the iconic blend of humour, darkness and intrigue may have been entirely different. I'm Cal from Whatculture, and this is 8 ways Heath Ledger's Joker almost turned out completely different. Number 8. He'd have been a reoccurring villain. As obvious as it sounds, and it goes without saying really, but Heath Ledger's death changed the plans for the Joker. It's clear from the second film of the trilogy that any subsequent movie, whether or not directed by Nolan, would have featured a returning Joker. Nothing in The Dark Knight was changed to accommodate Ledger's passing, meaning his ambiguous capture of the final moments was purposely keeping the door open. What exactly his role and events would have been are obviously unknown, but it would probably have kicked off with him manipulating events in Arkham. Number 7. Nolan's Joker almost went up against Batman, played by Heath Ledger. Originally, Ledger was approached to play Bruce Wayne, but he turned it down in pretty resolute terms, quoted as saying, "I would never take a part in a superhero film," which seems ridiculous now, but this was at a time where the genre only had X-Men and Spider-Man of any note. The film that changed all of that was Batman Begins, and beating the likes of Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson to the bandwagon, Heath Ledger contacted Nolan about playing the Joker in the sequel shortly before the movie hit. The rest, of course, is an Oscar-worthy history. Number 6. The original plan was doing a version closer to The Killing Joke. The most defining post-Silver Age Joker story is The Killing Joke, as it still manages the ongoing question of whether Batman actually kills the Joker at the end. The Killing Joke was intended to be a major influence on The Dark Knight. The thing most out of kilter with The Killing Joke is rooted in Joker's mannerisms, which suggests that as the actor developed his distinct version of the character, the script adjusted to fit him. While there's certainly elements present throughout, in the finished film, it's pretty slight. This isn't just Nolan being typically loose with an adaptation, he's actually changed his approach. Once the film was in the bag, the biggest inspiration was now cited on the very first appearances from the character in Batman. Number 5. He wasn't always going to be played by Heath Ledger. Reported by Batman on Film, Sean Penn was offered the role, although in retrospect that seems a little bit exaggerated. That Warner Brothers were already casting goes against how Ledger got the part. Still, like most rumours, it probably comes from a seed of truth, there being an online fan campaign to get Penn the part, allowing the case of it happening much stronger. Warner probably wanted the Oscar winner for the role, but were overpowered by a creatively in control Nolan. Number 4. The marketing was changed after Ledger died. Warner Brothers launched an incredible marketing campaign with a noticeable shift in focus after Ledger's death, with the Joker becoming less prominent in events. Obviously, this was a sudden change brought about in reaction to Ledger's death, which, while probably oversensitive in retrospect, makes sense given how high profile it was. Had Ledger not died, it's likely his Joker would have been as prominent on the posters and viral campaigns as Batman. In the end, however, it didn't matter too much, because once the film had hit, he was all anyone was talking about. Number 3. There was talk of a cameo in The Dark Knight Rises. How could that be achieved, though? In a manner of respect to Ledger, recasting such an iconic role was out of the question. In any case, no one would dare take it on, and using CGI and previously unused footage would feel very tacky. While the often rumoured Easter egg of his cell, complete with scrawled gibberish on the wall, would too easily pull the audience out of the desperate plot, and ultimately the film was Joker-free, and rightfully so. Number 2. He was supposed to make a big point about Batman's one rule. Batman doesn't kill. He'll cause situations that lead to death, but he won't directly kill someone. That's one of the biggest question marks over Nolan's films, with Batman breaking his one rule with very shaky justification. The finished film isn't really lacking in Joker tearing up Batman mentally, the only difference is that in the early draft he was targeting Batman's visage rather than the more human side underneath. Number 1. He was going to scar Harvey Dent when on trial in the third film. Despite Nolan not planning for sequels, David Goyer had a 2-year plan. After being captured at the end of Film 2, Film 3 would see the Joker on trial, during which he douses Dent with acid, sending a DA into a downward spiral and becoming Two-Face. Having Joker involved in Two-Face's origins so indirectly is the sort of happenstance meddling that has dominated the early movies. Something that really goes against how forward-thinking The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's Joker in particular really was. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comments below. I've been Cal from Whatculture. You can follow me on Twitter here, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.